Hi. First, you'll see a couple of news clips. Following that, I will read a letter that Chris Watts wrote to author Cheryln Cadle of the upcoming book Letters from Christopher. Chris's letter details a shocking and upsetting account of the day before and the morning of the murders. This makes Chris Watts' fourth confession.
In this Daily Mail TV exclusive, we're hearing from killer dad Chris Watts' pen pal, and she claims Watts gave her a true confession. Cheryln Cadle is opening up about her one-on-one conversations with the convicted killer. She's revealing new, disturbing details about how and why he killed his pregnant wife and two daughters.
He did feel that had he never met Nikki, this would never have happened.
Cheryln says Chris Watts plotted the murder of his wife and two daughters so he could be with his mistress, Nicole Kessinger.
She had almost a spell. He was so attracted to her that he was mesmerized by her. And she showed him respect, and he didn't feel like he had ever been shown that before.
It's just one of the shocking revelations made in Cheryln's new book, Letters from Christopher. The grandmother of 11 says she was compelled to meet with Watts after first seeing him on the news.
The very first morning that I saw Christopher, it just struck me. There was such a lost look at when watching him on television that day.
There was never any doubt in your mind that he was guilty of these crimes?
Never any doubt at all.
Cheryln and Watts exchanged multiple letters. She showed the correspondence to DailyMail.com senior reporter Louise Boyle.
You can see here his writing is small, and this is like a 10-12 page letter here that he's written.
You'll recall Watts first told investigators he killed Shanann in a fit of rage.
He told me that he was not angry. It did not happen in a fit of rage like he had told the FBI. That it happened very calmly as she was drifting off to sleep, that he knew how to squeeze the jugular veins in her neck to cut off the oxygen supply.
Cheryln also met with Watts at the Wisconsin prison where he's serving a life sentence.
One thing that bothered me is he wouldn't look at me in the eye. He wants people to think good of him. It's very hard for him to be called a monster or to be called a murderer.
The details in this letter are extremely disturbing. Daily Mail TV has seen the letters in which Chris Watts confesses to murdering his family and explains how he did it. The letter was sent to Cheryln Cadle, a 65-year-old grandmother who visited Watts 3 times in person and spoken to him a few times a week on the phone, with their most recent conversation taking place last week. Cadle used these conversations as well as a letter from her new book, Letters from Christopher, and will have other shocking confessions from her prison visits.
Hi, this is Kimberley. I'm going to be reading a letter that Christopher Watts wrote to Cheryln Cadle. She's the author of the book Letters from Christopher that's coming out soon. And it was posted on Daily Mail, and I think a lot of you have probably already read it. If you've not, I just want to let you know there's going to be some graphic descriptions that he gives, and probably be upsetting. I mean, it will be upsetting. So I'll begin now. This is what Christopher wrote, or Chris Watts wrote to Cheryln. Dear Cheryln, hello again. I hope you are doing well. It's been awesome being able to talk with you on the phone, but I know that the 15-minute time limit is a pain. Sometimes I can get right back on the phone, but right now there are other inmates that like to be on the phone as much as I do, so I respect their time as well. How's your dad doing? I hope you're able to see him. I've been praying on that every day. Yes, that petition really blew my mind that people really want to make me suffer like that. Really? Sorry. Even if they did ever take my pictures, they can't take my memories. An inmate from another institution wrote me about that subject and said if they take your pictures, they would need to take the pictures from the other 500 to 600 people that have their family pictures up in their cells convicted of the same act. Do I feel like I should be incarcerated for the act I committed? I most definitely think so. Do I imagine myself ever doing anything like this or being a danger to society? I most definitely think not. Capital not. All letters, all capital letters, exclamation. If I were to ever be released, I know I would go straight to a ministry and start going to jails and prisons and help inmates. If God led me to be ordained, I would go that route as well. Possibly even be a chaplain. Maybe the laws will change one day. My attorney team could see I was different and knew that this was a one-time occurrence for me. They even told me that in Europe. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. They even told me that in Europe the law is I would serve 20 years or so for a homicide, and in California, after 25 years of imprisonment on a life sentence, you can be released if you've had good behavior. So there's hope for everyone to live outside the prison walls. I know physically I'm behind the walls, but my spirit is free with Christ. If God keeps putting it on your heart that there is more to the story than what the FBI has, you're correct. I don't like saying stuff like that over the phone because I'm never certain why they screen my call. I'm never certain why they screen my calls. I know I already told you about the vision I had before August 13th when I was lying in bed and all the lights were on in the loft and downstairs and I felt so alone. That's exactly what happened August 14th when I was laying in bed. I'm not sure if I want this in the book or if God does, but here are the things I left out. Number one, August 12th, when I finished putting the girls to bed, I walked away and said, that's the last time I'm going to be tucking my babies in. I knew what was going to happen the day before, and I did nothing to stop it. I was numb to the entire world. I had literally taken my kids to a birthday party, played water balloons, had an amazing time, sang songs all the way home, gave them both a shower, ate dinner, read bedtime stories, and sang bedtime songs, and still nothing registered. When Shanann had to be somewhere, I always enjoyed taking the girls places or playing outside because it was an opportunity to bond. And still, even the night before, I couldn't stop myself from what I knew would occur the next morning. Number two, August 13th, morning of. I went to the girls' room first before Shanann and I had our argument. I went to Bella's room, then Cece's room, and used a pillow from their bed. That's why the cause of death was smothering. After I left Cece's room, then I climbed back in bed with Shanann, and our argument ensued. After Shanann had passed, Bella and Cece woke back up. I'm not sure how they woke back up, but they did. It makes the act that much worse knowing I went to their rooms first and knowing I still took their lives at the location. Number three, the reason the medical examiner found Oxycontin in Shanann's system is because I gave it to her. I thought it would be easier to be with Nicole if Shanann wasn't pregnant. If the world knew of all that, I'm pretty sure a new petition would be started to have me put to death or I would be killed in prison if I ever got transferred from this institution. I'm not sure if this was a spiritual visit, but I had a dream Cece was dancing next to the chair in my cell. When she was dancing, one of my folders on the chair started moving, and I thought she was in trouble, so I said, "Watch out, get away, watch out." Then I woke up. I'm hoping she comes back. I hope everyone comes to visit me. I'm trying to see if I can clear my head better before I go to sleep to help. I like that John 10:1 through 10 passage you sent. I wish I could have had an open ear to hear the Lord calling me back in June, July, and August. If we run after sin, we won't hear our shepherds calling us. I couldn't discern between the good spirits and the evil spirits, and that eventually lodged me into a deep pit I wouldn't climb back out of. I pray that you and your family are doing good, and I pray that the Lord will keep directing us in this path. Take care and God bless, Chris. And he ends it with a quote: "The night is far spent, the day is at hand. Let us therefore cast off the works of darkness, and let us put in the armor of light." Romans 13:12. Thank you.